You thought we were going away, didn't you guys? Nope, we're back. We're back with another episode of Light the Torch podcast. No games to cover, but we do got some stuff for you guys, man. We're going to talk about this coaching search, or at least what we know about it. We're going to give you everything we got, man. We're going to go in depth about our candidates, or what we heard to be our candidate, or who we heard, I should say, to be our candidates. I know there's been a lot of rumors, whole lot of rumors this week. We thought we'd have this done by now, but obviously not, which is not necessarily a bad thing, you know. So we're going to give you what we got, man. Lucky Chan, you want to get into some graphics?
Sure, give me 1 second here.
Okay,
Spot on, fellas.
that up. Our guy did his due diligence, man, and we're gonna really go
I
in.
hope it turns out well. Okay.
All right.
All right. Who's the next defensive coordinator? We have Jim Leonard here with Jimmy Lake, who's been the primary name's been thrown out besides DJ Durkin, but haven't really heard too much validity on that. But let's go into some stats of when each of them were the defensive coordinator at their respective schools here. So Jim Leonard, he was the defensive coordinator pretty much from 2017 to 2023, or the end of 2023, or the end of the 22-23 season here. So his rushing, or like, this is just some stats that we thought would be pretty relevant for us, especially with how bad our defense has been. But rush defense for Jim Leonard from 2017-2018 was third, passing yards allowed fifth, red zone scoring defense fifth, scoring defense third, total defense second, and turnover margin. We thought we would put that on here. It's 35th, so that's just insane. That was his first year as the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Granted, I'm not sure how they did offensively, and I'm not sure if I would need to go back to see if they were able to beat the schools like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Those are pretty much the schools that we really like to see him being able to beat. But 2018, 2019, a little bit of a decline. I think maybe 2017 and 2018 was maybe when he had TJ Watt on the squad. But for his defense, 54th in the nation. For passing yards allowed, 22nd. Red zone, 77th. Scoring defense, 34th. Total defense was 29th, and turnover margin 63rd. So definitely a down year, but that looks good for us, for our defense. Like, if our defense even put up these kind of numbers, I think we'd be good. What do you guys say about that?
Well, I know 2018-19 season, he had a whole lot of turnover. Obviously,
Yeah.
there was Watt, and there's a lot of seniors on that team.
Yeah, and then overall, that 2017-2018 team they were 13-1, I believe. The only loss was against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, where they only gave up 27 points.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, they ran the table up until that point.
Yeah, I see they beat Michigan that year as well.
Yep, Michigan, yep, exactly.
They
Well, I'm
beat
glad you
Rice
guys are here
Miami
to back
team
me
as
up
well.
on
Yeah, we got you.
But yeah, and shout outs to Founders Edit on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. He came up with this graphic for Jim Leonard and USC gear, which would be great to see. So moving on to 2019, 2020, his defense went back to how it was before. Rush defense, 6th in the nation. Passing yards allowed, 12th. Red zone, 11th. Scoring defense, 10th. Turnover, 4th. Turnover margin, 61st. That's just insane. Like, he had one down year, pretty much reloading, I would say, and then he just comes out swinging here the next year after that. So
They beat Michigan again that year, and pretty
Yeah,
much ran
that's-
the table. That's one they lost versus Ohio State, but obviously we understand why. Ohio State has the so-called better prospects and
Yeah.
recruits, so that definitely plays a role.
Yeah, definitely does. So it's really nice to see that he can easily like take a down year and flip it around the next year. Which we thought that would be us this year. We thought we would have a down year last year, and then it would flip over. But clearly, we all know he's not capable of doing that right now. So being able to see this definitely makes me feel a lot better about him. And 2020 to 2021, this is the COVID year, so this definitely take it with a grain of salt, because I think Big Ten played maybe a few games more than us, something like that. I can't remember. I think they came back before we did for that 2020 year. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Rush defense was 5th. Passing yards allowed 31st. Red zone scoring defense 10th. Scoring defense 9th. Total defense 5th, and turnover margin 60. Turnover is just kind of icing on the cake, I feel like, when it comes to the rest of these stats here.
I would take everything else, and horrible. I won't say horrible, but
yeah, if we had no turnovers but we still did this, I'd be happy.
That's it. Give me the stops. I'll take that all day.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely. This is still, even though it's a COVID year, which honestly I think could be a little bit harder in a sense, because you don't know if you're going to have your whole team due to COVID or whatever. So I think that he did a good job with what he had. So at that time. And so 2021 to 22, rush defense, number 1. Passing yards allowed, 4th. Red zone defense, 21st. Scoring defense, 4th. Total defense, number 1. And turnover margin, 64th. So who cares? If you have the number 1 defense and we had the number 1 offense this year, national championship, easy.
Yep.
If we could have had this Jim Leonard coaching us, I would say that our defense would even be better than what this was, based off our what is it called, our who we have on our team. I feel like with the recruits that we get and the transfer portals, because I'm sure transfer portal was a thing at this time, right? Yeah, it was, because this is when we had Caleb, right? No, it wasn't.
No, it was the next year, but it kind of was starting, I'd say, around that time. Yeah.
This would have been rough because we had Clay Helton at this time. So I don't know how we would have done on that year with Clay Helton. But 2022 to 23 is still just a good enough defense for us to win the national championship. Rush defense, 8th. Passing yards allowed, 29th. Red zone, 25th. Scoring defense, 17th. Total defense, 10th. Turnover margins, 53rd. So that's just, he's consistently in top 15, top 20 in total defense and scoring defense, and that's what we need. So for the next slide, I tried to get the average of his total defense within the whole time that he was out there, and for 6-year average, first down defense 12, rush defense 15, passing defense, passing yards allowed 17th, red zone 24th, team tackles for loss. I guess I can put that in there as well. 24th, scoring defense 12th, total defense 8, turnover margin 54. That's in 6 years that he kept that up. He had one down year, and then the rest were top 20 defense every year, and for the most part, most important stats that we had. And I did have some other stats for him as well for like some other defenses here. So like, let's see. Oh, that's for Washington's defense. We'll come up to that here pretty soon. But for like, let's see. I had first, or did I put first down defense? Was I not doing first down defense the whole time? Okay, first down defense. Like we struggled on first down defense. 5th. 1 year, 19th, 23rd, 13th, and first in 1 year and 11th the other year. And tackles for loss, they were consistently in the top at least 40 for most of the time. 23rd for tackles for loss, 6th for tackles for loss, 11th. there was a bad year, 46, but who cares?
So, what
46.
do you guys think? Looking at all those numbers, obviously it sounds great, right? To if we're able to have those type of numbers, but what do you think his numbers would be with the better athletes? Kind of like the athletes that Ohio State gets, Michigan, and hopefully we'll eventually get there. I think USC is a blue program that could get those type of athletes. So, what do you guys think those numbers would look like with those type of athletes?
I'll say top 5 to 10 in every category.
As long as we can get the same production, the same. I would assume he would want at least a similar staff as he had beforehand as well. But I just feel like if we give him what he needs, he will be successful based off what Wisconsin was giving him, which wasn't as much as what we could offer. I feel like he should be looking at our. I know he's not looking at who we are or whatever. Or maybe he is. I don't fucking know. But he's just like, how can you not see like a gold mine with our recruiting that we have here? Sure, he may not be recruiting the Midwest as he has always been before, but he's gonna be in the living rooms of the best talent with just his with USC's name behind him and his coaching pedigree that he's put together. I feel like a recruit will be hard to not say, okay, let me hear you out. Which we still get that from top talents, even with losing.
Yeah, I mean, I expect the same. I think, honestly, our turnover margin might improve just because of the better athletes.
Right.
No disrespect to Wisconsin, but, I mean, that's kind of what they lacked, keeping up with the offensive athletes with the big program. So I could see that improving, if you were to be with us.
Yeah. Let's go to the chat and see what people are saying here.
Okay, what do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Leonard's one of the top guys, and from everything that I've been hearing, and some of the rest of the guys on on the podcast here have been hearing, that's really the only guy in like the top 3 to 5, candidates out there that we're having a conversation with. And just going back to what he did when he was in school, he was a walk-on that became an All-American. He's a absolute stud. He has proven that he knows what he's doing, and having a mix of different schemes, having a lot of different ways to be able to make that happen. It's he's the number one choice for me, and the back and forth that we still seem to be hearing, Riley and co need to not be so rigid and get this done, because this is obviously a big piece, and going into the Big Ten, doing this in the Big Ten is a big win. So I'm, from how this is playing out, he's really the 1A, 1B, 1C type guy, and then there's not really a solid 2 from what I'm hearing at this point. So we need to make sure that this gets done.
That we do. Yeah, a lot of people are saying in the chat, or at least Jeff Rodriguez says, there's a bunch of head coach firings, which lets kids go to the portal without no penalties. So, and he was saying Oregon State, Texas A&M, Michigan State, etc. Yeah, it'll be no. Texas A&M, we can poach a lot of players from them, especially even their recruits as well, which I would assume we are doing or trying to.
From what I've heard, that we have already been, I won't say poaching, but we've been. There's been some player-to-player contact for a lot of guys over there.
Everyone's calling for Evan Stewart.
Yeah. I saw that one too. So there's a lot going on, man. We're trying to get our roster together, man. The coaching staff sees, where we see. So,
do you think with the turnover that we're having at wide receiver, we should make a real effort for Evan Stewart?
See, who are we losing? Let's go in depth.
Brendan Rice probably. Dorian Singer, but he has one more year, right?
Singer has, I think he has 2 more, right? If I'm not
Does he?
mistaken.
Oh, well, then not Singer then.
I think only like a couple, like Rice and
Taj.
And where's Mike Jack? He has one more year.
Yeah, I think so.
Keon.
So we don't know if he'll be with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends, but I mean, for right now, I'd say I mean, it's a great addition. You know, he's a good weapon, but I mean, I like what we have. Who we've recruited. They got the 2 incoming freshmen so far.
We also have a player like Stewart
right.
as well.
That's true, but I mean, personally, I'm just against my personal preference and opinion is transfer should just be all defensive players.
Yep.
I mean, and in line, right? If we as well, but I mean,
sure.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think right now we don't need a QB, don't need a wide receiver, maybe a running back. That's really the only question I'd say, depending on Marshawn Lloyd. But yeah.
Honestly, we do definitely need to stack up on both sides of the line. We do have some good freshmen on there, but we also need some people that will that are leaders or whatever, or just some experienced guys. Like it'd be is Gino going to be able to come back one more year? Is he going to get his medical red shirt?
There's no reason why you shouldn't.
True.
They're super lenient with all those things now, so I shouldn't be any reason why he couldn't get one.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo Nix, this is what, on his 7th, 8th season. So,
well, speaking of returners, Jamil Muhammad announced earlier this week that he'll be returning for us for his final year of eligibility, which was a plus for whoever the defensive coordinator may be. He's definitely did his thing at edge, man. So good to see him. You know, he made a name for himself, and now let's see if we can capitalize on that this following year.
I mean, this year we have a good amount of solid players on the defensive side returning, right? We got Bear, Lucas, Muhammad now. Who else? Is Bars coming back this year, or is he done?
He's done, I think. Yeah. But
yeah. And then obviously we got Gentry coming back if he doesn't enter the portal. I'm not sure if he's how's that situation.
What I know,
might want to come back.
A wait and see type of deal.
Wait and see for that. Yeah. Real quick, I also do have some stats for Jimmy Lake as well here.
So real quick before we move on, not to add some spice, just scrolling on Twitter, and this Illinois cast, he some Twitter account that talks about football, basketball, everything, Illinois college. He's getting word that the man that should be their DC is about to take USC's job. So again, just to continue to put fire in the trash, I don't know what the phrase is, but yeah. So hopefully this guy's right and we get our guy.
Wait. He said the man who should be whose DC?
Their DC. He thinks that he should be their DC for their college football.
Say that again.
Illinois thinks this guy that covers Illinois thinks that he should be their DC, but he's going to take our job.
If they can offer him as much as their head coach is getting paid, maybe.
I know. But yeah, so we'll see.
Sounds like we're closing in on that deal. I mean, but that's just hearsay. There's been a lot of speculations and a lot of tweets this week, so we'll have to just see.
We may get a breaking news live on the podcast. Who knows?
That'd be nice.
Man, I got the horn ready.
It'd be nice to be able to be the first people on YouTube to break that.
Yeah, but
all right.
So let's get into the next candidate until we hear otherwise.
So this is shout out to Arrogant Nation. Here, he had this graphic here of a lake with USC Jim Lakes. Yeah, it's funny. But so he was co-defensive coordinator for Washington from this 2016-17 year. But he was the DC for 3 years. for Washington, and he had some pretty good stats. Not clearly as good as Jim Leonard's, but it's still definitely something to be on the lookout if somehow we can't close on Leonard. But rush defense, 28th, still great. Passing yards allowed, 15. I think B. Jones was saying that he had a really good secondary, so hopefully these show that. But for red zone defense, 19th in the nation. Scoring defense, 8th, which is great. Total defense, 12th. Turnover margin, number 1. So that's definitely that definitely shows that probably the defensive backs are making some moves or they're punching out the ball. But what do you guys think of his first year?
I thought it was solid. I mean, turnover margin, it's great to see. Seems obviously I know I don't want to go into the next year, but obviously he does good as well. Yeah, and he's a good D-backs. He could be that DB's coach. Recruits very well from that side of the game. So,
can you say what this year was like? Who was his offense, or was this his playoff year? Was this a playoff year for Washington?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe actually.
I want to say it was 20. It's either one of those two. I want to say.
Yeah, I think it's 2016 actually.
What's his name? Was the quarterback? He was the Heisman favorite for a while.
Yeah,
I think
in 2016.
Was this the year that we beat with Sam Darnold?
Yeah, in Washington. Yeah, so it was this year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we knocked them out of the playoffs for this one, I think.
Right.
So, yeah, they were good. We beat them. I was trying to look up. I probably could have done this. I don't know why I didn't, but I was going to try to compare our defenses at the time to those.
Buda Baker and Kevin King on that team. Those guys are both studs. So,
yeah.
Well, Kevin King, did he really turn out at Green Bay? I can't recall. I know.
I mean, he was great in college.
Let's see. They had Trufant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And then not to get ahead, but he also got Brian Murphy as well. That's a good solid DB in the NFL.
We already know Buda Baker's still out there doing his thing.
Recruited our boy Jacoby as well.
Yeah. So
yeah, he can spike talent that gets into the NFL.
Exactly.
So but yeah, moving on to 2017, 2018, rush defense better than last year, 4th. Passing yards allowed, a little bit of a dip, but he probably lost all those dogs at that time, so that's still good. 32nd red zone defense, pretty bad, but still better than ours. 85th scoring defense. I don't get it how the scoring defense is different compared to the red zone, but maybe there was just more. I don't get it, but. Total defense 8th in the nation, turnover margin 5th. So still pretty good for the turnovers, and total defense still great. Scoring defense still great. Just a little weak in the red zone defense. So I still think that's a good season overall, especially what we're lacking. So any comments for this season?
Here's my only thing about Jimmy Lake. I mean, yes, he turns out great secondaries. I mean, obviously the 17-18 season, he had a good rush defense. But how often did he have a good rush defense? Was that a recruiting thing from the pass D coordinator, or was that, because since then he hadn't really had that, and that's what we're going to need going into the Big Ten. They don't really throw the ball like we do.
Yeah. PK was the DC prior to him, right? And he was a D-lines coach, I believe, at Hart. So,
the year before this year, I think he the 2016, 2017, he was the DB's coach.
Right.
Oh, shout out to Tim Prangley being in our chat.
Absolutely. What's going on, Tim? But yeah, man, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would still love to have the guy.
Yeah.
Pair him with a top D-line coach, it would be all right. But
shout out to the other 20 people that we have in here too.
I know you mentioned recruiting, Brandon. How does Lake and Leonard? I guess how do they compare when it comes to recruiting?
Well,
I should have looked that up too. I haven't.
I actually looked it up. This I know it was B Jones,
Thank you.
but I'd say Jimmy's more of a primary recruiter, and Jim's more of a secondary recruiter. Essentially, just based on all-time recruits when you look at it on 247.
Wait, who did he recruit for Jim Leonard?
Not notable names, honestly. I just know most of the, recruits that he contacted, they were secondary in terms of how they look at it. So, he wasn't the primary guy, so he wasn't really, in my opinion, closing the deals.
yeah, it sounds like Leonard is more of a developer than he is a recruiter. Which
But do you think with the USC name behind it,
exactly,
he'll get more yeses?
exactly. And if you get a guy on staff, that's a recruiter.
Yeah.
Get the right recruiters on staff.
If they're going to fill a staff out with a bunch of guys that can fill out their own, positions the way that we all hope, then Leonard's the master of the whole entire thing, putting the thing together. But that's where your support staff starts to come into play. And if they're going to drop a bag on a guy like Leonard, they gotta pay the rest of the position coaches and the analysts and all those guys enough money to fill that out too.
So, Tyler, I'm glad you mentioned support staff. Sounds as if we are looking to bolster our support staff. After there's been numerous reports of Oregon just having a much bigger support staff here in California than we have ourselves, and them showing up on high school campuses more, being present more than we are in these coaches' faces and these players' faces. I think I kind of took that to heart and start looking to bolster our support staff, man. So that's also good to hear as well. So we're trying to. This sounds like we're getting things together, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I really hope so, and I can't keep refreshing Twitter enough. So
I also heard that Alex Grinch is going to be taking all of his profits of his sale to our NIL. So just give him a round of applause. That's a huge addition for USC football, boys.
He had a nice house.
He really did.
Somehow that money still wouldn't be used properly and still whiff.
All right, real quick, we're going to move on to his last year with Washington. 2018-2019 rush defense, 15. Passing yards allowed, 25th. Red zone defense, 55th. Scoring defense, 5th. Turnover defense, 12th. Or total defense, 12th. And turnover, 15th. So he got better on the red zone defense, so that's good to see. And overall, for the 3-year average, his rush defense was 15th. Passing yards, 24th. Red zone defense, 53 instead of 53rd. Scoring defense, 6th. Total defense, 10th. And turnover margin, 18th. So that's a pretty solid year. A solid resume with Washington that whole time. So, and it's weird. He coached back at Washington in 2004 as well, I think, and he went away for a while, and then he came back in 2017 or 16. So, it seems like he's pretty loyal to Washington, but
born in Cali.
With any of those
Cali guy, she said.
Who's a Cali guy? Or
yeah, Jimmy Lake is. He's born in Cali.
Yeah, I was gonna say with any of those two defensive coordinators and those numbers with our offense last year, I think we win it all with that with this kind of defense. So I'll take either one of those two DCs, in my honest opinion.
Absolutely.
Jeff Rodriguez says this weekend has been so boring. Was really hoping for an announcement already. I was really hoping to have something to be thankful for on Thanksgiving. So
hey, we don't have Grinch anymore, guys. So
that is true, but
we can't rush the process. They got to get it right this time around. So I'm okay waiting until they hire the right guy, and if that means putting the full court press on Jim Leonard and not moving on until it's a definite no, then I'm okay with that too. So
Just give the man everything he wants. If that's the real issue, is that he's not getting what he wants when it comes to the staff. Why? Why are you being so picky? Come on, come on, Lincoln. Like, just let the man do what we just showed that he can do. Let him cook. Like everyone says, let him cook.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. I mean,
if that's the rumors.
Yeah, that's all speculation. We don't really know what's going on with that. But I would say, yeah, we can wait all day. But these recruits ain't waiting.
No,
they're looking for a place to slide right now, and they want to know if USC is, a viable option for them. So we got to get that thing wrapped up pretty soon here. It's time's ticking. Portal opens up this week. You see a bunch of names jumping in the portal right now. So, yeah, man. So hopefully we can get that. That's our DC secured.
I'm going to refresh Twitter right now just in case.
I was gonna say, what are the odds that it's announced by Wednesday or so?
Well, based on what the tweet that the Guns just read, man, hopefully it comes tomorrow. Or maybe somebody said Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know if Rusty was just messing around, but yeah, he posted some gif of or meme of Taco Tuesday, LeBron James.
Everyone's what is it called? Tweeted at Pete Thamel to announce it finally.
Yeah.
Just announce it already, Pete. Like Trojan Blade has just been putting so many gifs in there about just waiting or whatever. That he's been on like Twitter all day, just putting these gifs up here.
So are these two the top guys, or is there like a dark horse option out there?
We've
Jeff
also
Collins, right? I don't know if that's his first name, right? Yeah, Collins.
I haven't heard much on him lately. That was early on, but
Hey, and not to go into Twitter again, I'm just saying he's got some followers that are part of our team, and one of them is a punter. All I gotta say is, why would our punter be following him? That's all I'm saying. It just makes you think. But yeah, I think he could be a dark horse. I mean, he was a solid DC head coach. Is obviously tough situation, Georgia Tech, but yeah.
I heard from a source that Jeff Collins was an also, so not a solo guy.
Hey, DC plus him filling another spot, guys, with that questioned face there.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know kind of left you guys confused, but yeah. Thanks, Tyler, for the clarity. But yeah, man. So we'll see, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, it definitely has the potential of being an all-star defensive cast, if you will. It would be nice to have, one of the guys that I was hoping for. It seems like Robinson, the defensive line coach from A&M, is going to stay. From the things that everybody's been talking about with Elko taking the job at A&M, but be fun to get Edo back into the D-line role. I'm down for it. I know that he's a little bit of a questionable fit for some people, but that dude wanted to move Adrian Peterson's dad to a different prison, so he'd go to USC so he could watch his games, and I like that level of commitment. I need that, especially if Leonard is going to be the guy. You need a lot of guys that are going to do everything they possibly can around it. So sign me up for that.
Listen, I wouldn't be mad at two defensive line coaches at all if one of them let it go.
So inside D line and outside D line.
Yeah, there you go. I'll take that.
No, if that means that we will have a special teams coordinator, I don't like that.
I feel like if he was really on the staff as like a D line or something, he would help like Lincoln really understand the culture of SC and what we really stand for and mean and all that. Like, so I would. He said, "Can we stop there?" Yeah, I mean, just in terms of that, but
no, just to be clear, we're not talking about Edo being the DC. We're just talking about the D line coach.
Just want him on staff somewhere. I don't even care.
Yeah, exactly.
He could be in the equipment.
Analyst, way better analyst than Cliff. I'll say that. You know, so.
Well, like the editor, the guy that did the graphics, he said he made a tweet about having Sua as our recruiting director or something like that, or a recruiting analyst or something like that.
I don't know about a director.
Yeah, but like
but for sure he can, you know, Sua's tapped in for sure.
Yeah,
tapped in with a lot of these.
Well, he does. Doesn't he do like 7-on-7s?
Right.
Yeah. That's getting us in there right there. But what's his name? Walter had a good point about Lake. He coached in an offensive conference than Leonard. So imagine if he was going against a Big Ten kind of offense. Could it be better? It could be.
Well, you could also say that Leonard has the experience of coaching in the Big Ten already, and he knows what to expect. And those stats are and opponents. So that's an unknown for Lake. You know, we had enough unknowns.
And Brendan on here was saying, what do you think about Coach PK and Lake together again? I don't know if they'd be able to be on the same staff because one of them want to be. Well, I mean, if you can put them as co-defensive coordinators, but I don't know if one.
Yeah, they've done it before, but the question is right. If PK wants to leave, which again we've kind of reached out, gauged interest. Don't know what his interest is.
Well, he's focusing on the Big Ten or Big 12 championship right now,
which is fair. Yeah, understandable.
If they wouldn't have made it, I think there would have been more of an interest.
Going back to like the whole Big Ten thing, and I'm a big boxing fan as well, but like I feel like going into the Big Ten is being overhype about these Big Ten offenses. It's like if you're good at what you're doing, you stick to your game plan or you stick to your game. Like you don't switch it up just because somebody's good at something. You gotta, stick to what you know as well. So I know that they say the Big Ten offense is all about the run and whatnot, but we just have to, do what we do and stick to our offense and not worry so much about the type of offenses they run out there. Because I guess at this point we're not the only Pac team that's going in there right now. They have to face Washington, Oregon, ourselves, and UCLA, so they have to adapt to us as well. So
yeah. It's definitely going to shake up their defenses in the Big Ten now with high-powered offenses like Washington and USC and Oregon. So I'm not going to put UCLA as a high-powered offense. Not after this last game against Cal. Nope.
Yeah, we just make everybody's offense look high-powered.
But aside from, all right, I guess the top three teams in the Pac going, it's Washington, USC, Oregon, right? Good offenses. Big Ten only has really Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. Other than that, they're not like great either.
Yeah. In terms of just general, sorry, like overall,
just overall, yeah.
Oh, good, gotcha. Sorry, I thought we were talking about offenses. Sorry.
Yeah, like CU. Like I thought, I did think you were talking about offense because I was going to say Arizona's. I guess you could, but they're not going to.
No, I'm just talking about the teams that are going into the Big Ten. Obviously, Utah is a solid team over these last few years as well, but just we only really have to worry about three teams out there for the most part, which is Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Everybody else, I think, it's super beatable in my opinion.
And
as long as we're good in the trenches, I don't have much concern on those other teams. You're saying, I think that's the big thing, right? If we can have the trenches, then we'll take care of business of the Michigan States, Purdue's, all of them.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that I was talking about throughout the last few weeks of the season is that Riley's ego is going to show how like important that is and how willing he is to put that to the side and coach an entire team instead of just focus on the offense. And if he gets the hire right, then he is not, the last interview that he did with Sean Cody and the rest of the guys made it seem like he actually was willing to make some changes and turn the coach speak down a little bit. But if he actually will commit to doing that, hire somebody who he can give the reins to on the other side of the ball, and he can just focus on that side, then that's a big win. But if not, like, we're just always going to have a top 5 offense and a bottom 5 defense if he just can't, put his ego to the side to find some dude that actually can get the job done. So seems like he's willing to do that. Seems like he's trying to make those steps, but no confirmation there yet. And we definitely need somebody to have that type of physicality to, dominate the trenches, because we look like a soft SoCal team, and that ain't gonna work. We don't want to be in the same, like, Penn State territory. Like, we want to be competing with Ohio State and Michigan every single year, and Penn State clearly can't take that next step up, and so we've got to be able to do it. So to clarify, I'm getting a little bit of heat in the comments here. I am not asking for Ed O to be our damn DC. That guy is not ready to be a DC. I am asking for him to be the defensive line coach and badass recruiter. Like, that's what we need him to do. I am not asking for that man to be our DC. I am asking 100% for him to be our D-line coach. And if you got some heat on that, then that's fine. Like, you can come at me for that one too, but I ain't gonna back down on that one. That guy could totally run our D line and get those boys ready to go.
Exactly.
And you guys are saying that we need to be more physical. That guy will get us physical.
Yeah.
Run through a damn wall.
So Guns, were you talking about Illinois Cast? Who said that? Yeah, I saw him post something. I saw his post, and then this guy named Kashiam or whatever said, per source, Jim Leonard will be the defensive coordinator at USC.
Yeah, and that one sparked a lot of
minutes ago.
Yeah, he's the one who's kind of started sparking it.
Yeah, that one pretty much popped it off this week, man. And
was he the first one to say that?
Yeah,
but I would say so. And he's been sticking with it.
I don't know who he is, or from what his bio says, he's a USC alum or whatever, I think.
Trusted source of mine, trusted his word. So,
right.
Yeah.
I always trust his sources.
He has a decent amount of followers, and he's followed by USCJ, Guns, Scott Schrader follows him.
Yeah.
Scott's got to know everything.
Yeah.
Scott's got to know everything.
Yeah, and Fight on USC follows him as well. USCJ follows him. So
what we know is for sure that we threw the bag at Scott Schrader. From what I'm hearing, everything I'm hearing, excuse me, not Scott Schrader, Jim Leonard. We threw the bag at
Scott. Scott Schrader's our new defensive coordinator.
But
just then, you heard it here first.
We did everything that we're supposed to do on our end to acquire Jim Leonard. So now it's just, trying to finalize everything based on what I'm hearing. So,
USC Priority says 400 followers paid for a check mark.
Yes.
Who's that? Who is he talking about?
I think Illinois Cast. He says his next post.
Yeah, he's talking about the Krishan.
Yeah. You right. So
yeah. So
he does have a podcast.
I
mean, also to be fair, they probably don't have a lot of fans. No offense to the school. But,
yeah.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel. So. I wonder what his YouTube channel is saying here.
All right, we don't have to take a deep dive into that guy.
But
yeah,
Evie says Scott couldn't be worse than Grinch.
I don't know about that, man.
Hey,
I think I'd give Scott a chance.
He can recruit. He's with the recruits.
What's
I mean,
that?
Scott's not right all the time with all the recruiting
Right.
stuff. He's probably
True.
more right than Grinch was.
True.
Like I've said so many times in our chat, you throw some 13-year-old kid with a Madden controller out there and run a play, and I'm pretty sure we'd probably tackle better than we did this year. So, just finally excited to see Grinch not be here anymore.
Right.
Brandon Lindner said you were talking about Coach O as a position coach. What about Charlie Strong as a linebackers coach? Lake and Leonard both are DB guys. Do you think we need a DB's coach? Like with Leonard's specialty being DBs, does that make you? And that's the same thing with Grinch. He was more of a safeties coach. Do you think we should try to find someone that's a D-line and linebackers coach?
No, I mean, we still need a DB coach. We need the DC to focus on the entire defense, not just that one position.
Like, they specialize. Like, you can have a special DBs or as a DC.
I'd say no, just because of the philosophy. I mean, like, Grinch's philosophy is totally way different than Leonard. So regardless if they're both the safeties coach, I don't think that part really is an issue, I would say.
Look what you started, Brandon. Scott with new DC, and he's bringing Koto.
Wow.
Breaking news.
That's where we're at now.
Ideally, I would like Jim Leonard, DC. Give me Jeff Collins as a position coach, linebackers or something. I mean, Dante or if Jimmy Lake wants to join up, either one's fine with me. Keep Sean Nua, go Coach O. And then keep Roll Manning so we can make sure we get Cameron Fallon for next year.
Lake is he's an analyst at the Rams, right?
Assistant head coach, I believe, is according to Wiki.
Title.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, yeah.
So if he wants to be a position coach.
Hey, is Manny Diaz officially out of the running?
Nobody's heard anything about him.
Yeah, but we haven't heard anything, yeah.
But like,
I bet they reached out.
Lincoln, right? We didn't hear much, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, we didn't hear anything about Lincoln Riley, the coach. So I'm thinking it could still happen, right? I thought I saw something that he was officially out or something, but I don't remember seeing anything stating that that he was officially out of it. I just read a rumor or something that Aranda was out, Diaz, and then Schumann, and all those guys. But that's another DC I would like for USC to hire, Manny Diaz. I think he'll do wonders for us.
We can't have 3 DCs.
No, I know we can, but I'm saying if it's not any Lake or Leonard, I mean Diaz would be a nice one as well.
Yeah, he was definitely on top of our board. So.
Yeah.
So I also heard I'll have to find this article again about Manny Diaz, but like I think his buyout is about to expire from Miami, so technically he's gonna be making less, in Penn State. Hopefully, maybe he doesn't really like that weather, right? Come over to Cali, get that warmer weather, maybe get paid a little bit more, just a little bit. But
I heard he says this has been the slowest week of his life. Man, I'm telling you, it's all man. It's been a very slow week.
And Tafaf, I'm looking at Colin's Twitter or anything like that. I'm not seeing anything regarding USC, so I don't know how dialed in he is currently right now. But
if he knew something, he probably would have leaked it already, man. Those guys want to be the first to leak something like that. So
I just hope he's giving us some money. That's all I really care about when calling college. He talks a lot about us and like NIL sometimes, and I just feel like he's like one of the people that
do your part, Colin.
is against it. Yeah, it's like no offense to the guy, but
Evie said, "Did you fellas see the house Alex Grinch had? Give it to Manny Diaz." Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a lot.
Like a 4-point-something mil house.
4.45, I believe, something like that. A lot of people said, he wasn't deserving of that house.
I wish I had a friend that would could give me something for being terrible at my job. Something like that. I mean, Tyler, come on, step up, man.
Doing what I can, man. We don't get these $80 million buyouts like Jimbo for being
Right.
shitty at our own like normal jobs. So
I really started questioning: is Jimbo really that bad, or was he just in for a fleece job the whole time? Like, what do you guys think? You think he had this master plan to just?
Colin might be the guy. Oh, well, that's good if so. Okay, if so, that's good.
I hope so. Maybe it was one of the players.
regarding the Jimbo thing, I mean, ever since his like Florida State times and he took the big bag from A&M, like they've been able to recruit, but I don't know why the product in the field never translated. And they had a ton of locker room issues. Like that team was just not coached well at all. And that starts at the top. And if you can't reel in, 75, 18 to 22-year-olds, you don't deserve that type of money. So you got a lot of oil money backing you. And, that's, especially with NIL, is going to get a lot of recruits. And he was already a pretty solid recruiter before. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely were underwhelming in a lot of different ways.
So
Yeah, I heard he had some weird. Sorry to jump in, Black Chan. I heard some weird like rules. Like one of them was like long sleeves. I guess you can wear long sleeves as a player for some reason. I mean, it's normally hot there, but maybe somebody just they have a pregame, some ritual or whatever. But yeah, it just didn't seem like he fit in basically.
here's one for you, Guns. Any chance we get Will Muschamp as a candidate?
Nope. No.
Yeah, that was. I will say that ship is passed, but I don't even think that ship was built. So, yeah.
It's not even Glenn Shearer.
I don't think we're getting interviews with any of them right now based off how they're going.
No chump.
No. Kind of surprised that Glenn hasn't been talked about for head coaches, but he's still young, so.
Yeah.
Going back to your question, B. Jones, I think that he just didn't have control of the locker room. Like all the NIL money flying out, there wasn't really no control on his end, and that was his biggest factor in failing, in my opinion. Just
you're not the only one to get frozen, B. Jones.
What's that?
You're not the only one to get frozen.
Did I get frozen?
Yeah, you're looking.
I'm looking rough right here.
He's frozen on my screen.
He was, yeah. I'm on, yeah.
Nope.
Oh, so.
Nope. I'll have the screen off, but can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I was just saying that, and regarding Jimbo Fisher, I think the biggest reason was he just didn't have control of his locker room. Too many egos there with all the money going out.
Yeah.
And that's just my theory behind that. But I just think that's probably one of the biggest factors why he failed.
Fab, we're not in any kind of quarter right now.
Yeah.
We're just
off season, bro.
It's off season.
Speaking of though, let's actually get into
recruiting.
So what I'm hearing, there's no return for Caleb. All right, let's get that out of here. He's gone. He's gone. Well, I'm hearing Miller Moss may be getting the start. Well, not maybe. He's likely to start.
He should be, yeah.
Right. So, as we mentioned, Jamil Muhammad will be returning. I know you guys saw the tweet where Kalen Bullock kind of seemed like he was hinting on returning himself. That's not definite. We don't know. The last thing we heard is that he will be moving on. And then that was a few days before. So we'll have to see. We'll wait and see as far as how that goes. But what are you guys' thoughts on Miller Moss getting a chance to prove what he can do? I think this game will be his opportunity to prove. If not, we might have to go digging in that portal. I even saw a tweet earlier. Actually, it wasn't a tweet. It was on Instagram. Someone said had Cam Ward made an edit of Cam Ward in a Trojan uniform. So
that guy still has eligibility.
He has another year.
Nah. I saw someone tweet out about Fafita in the transfer portal. I'd take Fafita over.
I saw that too. But
I would take Fafita over Cam
I would
Ward.
definitely take Fafita over Cam Ward. I'm definitely on that Fafita train. Yeah. But,
Hey, he killed. Who were they playing? Was it Utah? No,
This
Colorado.
weekend.
Arizona State this past weekend.
Yeah,
Arizona,
Arizona
I was gonna
State.
say.
They destroyed Arizona.
went to work, man. What
Yep,
team
yep.
had piled up? That's what 300 yards receiving.
You didn't even last 50. You didn't even last an hour before you froze, BJ.
Oh yeah, it's Rose now. It's Rose.
Best this ever.
Great.
That
You got
sneeze
two
face.
down, two down.
What is that face you're making right there, man?
It's great. It's great.
But to go back to like Moss and everything, yeah, I'm excited to see what he looks like. It's going to be a big game for him. Us as fans to see what can we expect potentially in the next year if he's going to be the QB or if it's still Nelson, it's Nelson. Just a reminder, it looks like we're trending in the West Coast. Potentially still the Sun Bowl might be an option if for bowl games out there. But it sounds like Vegas and LA or San Diego still. So
Yeah. TAFAB had an interesting buy or sell for us. Buy or sell, Caleb Bullock played like an All-American this season.
Kidding who?
Caleb Bullock.
Sell.
Yeah, I'm selling
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, he did not play like a. He had really good moments, but then there were some times where he kind of got beat over top. So
I think if I'm Kalen, I think injuries aside, he should come back this year and improve his draft stock again.
yeah, and
I think he took a pretty big hit this year.
yeah, I think he would be mid third round, fourth round. Maybe he's okay with that.
I mean, he's
So
not
did
even
he
going to
get-
play safety at the next level. He's too low.
Yeah.
So he's
Mhm.
going to
From what I've heard,
play
he's-
corner,
might be corner, yeah. Mhm.
slot.
Unless he
But
gets-
last year did he get All American?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this
He's All-American
year,
last year.
this year he had more tackles.
That's because the first two
Right.
levels of the defense were atrocious, and he had to.
Right.
So
And
Makes
this year he
sense.
played a lot more strong safety too. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had one
Yeah, he
more
played
pass
close to the
deflection.
line a lot last year.
Yeah,
way closer to the line this year.
this
I
year,
thought he
yeah.
played more
Mhm.
last year.
No, he was more of the. That's why he had 5 interceptions last year.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just noticed that. But it makes sense. He's more closer to the line.
A lot of people in the chat are saying that he needs to come back, especially if Jimmy Lake is announced as our DC, which I think he would definitely help him out with his draft stock.
Well, I think both candidates would be able to
Yeah.
help. But yeah, Jimmy Lake for sure.
Whatever happened to was there any kind of rumbling with SMU's DC?
From who's?
SMU's?
No, I didn't hear much. Scott
Can't remember
Simons.
his name.
Yeah,
I think
Simons.
Simons or Simmons.
Yeah, Scott Simons.
Simons.
Heard a little bit of it, but that's about it.
Right. Hot board. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at Arrogant Rusty on Twitter, and he has a version 11 of his defensive coordinator list. And Chris Hampton, the co-defensive coordinator for Oregon, was his third.
I did see that.
What do you guys think about that? Like taking Oregon's defensive coordinator, do you think that'd be a possibility, or would you be okay with that, or how would you feel?
I think he's got a better chance of becoming the head coach at Oregon State than anything else.
Oh, I forgot that Oregon State did lose Jonathan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we called that too.
Yep. we did.
No. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, if he were want to come and that was our best option, wouldn't mind it. I mean, he comes from a good defense right now. He understands physicality, so that's what we need.
Where was he before? Was he at Georgia as well with
Chris Hampton?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He's an Oregon State guy, right? He played at Oregon State.
Oh.
So he was previously at Tulane for 21 to 22, Duke's DB at 20, Tulane DB at 26 to 29. So yeah, Tulane DC prior.
Take them. They beat us, so.
But he's an Oregon State alumni, right? The DC for Oregon
Good
State.
question.
Yeah, but he sees the writing on the wall, man. He knows ain't nothing happening over there for a while.
No, he played at South Carolina, Chris Hampton. Are you talking about Oregon State's coach though? Sorry.
Maybe I'm confusing him with the coach then.
Trent Bray or Johnson Smith.
Smith.
Okay.
I kind of remember one of them was like an Oregon State alumni.
Yeah, I think Smith was. I believe.
Yeah, he went to Oregon State.
Yeah, he's a coach.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Oregon State because if it wasn't for the Pac-12 dissolving, I don't think he would take that Michigan State job.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Potentially the Trent Bray DC. He's not going to follow Johnson Smith to Michigan State, so maybe Oregon State wants him as the head coach now.
So Brandon has a wish list or a defensive staff dream. He says Jim Leonard for DC and safeties, Orgeron for D-line. Oh no, don't get other people upset about that. Charlie Strong for outside linebackers, co-defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake with DBs, and inside linebackers / special teams Bob Gregory. Who is he with? I've never heard of who. But
sure. That would definitely be a dream staff right there.
Yeah, that would be a star-studded staff right there.
He's the linebackers coach for Stanford. He's at Stanford. Sorry.
Okay.
He was part of the Washington staff, so that's kind of why with the connection, I guess, with Lake.
And we can get David. What's his name?
Bailey.
David Bailey.
We'll see what happens.
That man, he needs to leave. He really needs to leave.
Well, they beat CU this year, so maybe he stays.
So Dallas is saying, is there any truth to reports CW and agent are saying to teams who might draft him partial ownership and team or don't bother? If true, it's pure entitled bull squat. He hasn't done anything to warrant that. No, yeah, that's fake. I don't know why people keep buying into that.
That was like months ago too.
Yeah, why?
You can imagine who started that or what team that.
Dude, my buddy that I work out with, he always, every time he talks crap to me about US, he's like, oh yeah. He always talks so much crap about Caleb and just says that he's self-entitled and he's no leader and all this stuff. I'm like, shut up, my guy. And I just disregard him at this point because he just starts stuff at this point.
Yeah, all coaches and players that have been around Caleb are saying the exact opposite of what these outside people are saying. So
yeah, so
trust.
That rumor is true, but if I'm Caleb, why not ask for partial ownership? I don't care. You got to look out for yourself.
Yeah,
like
it's not gonna happen.
I know it won't happen. But I'm saying, if it was true, it's like you can't be mad at a guy trying to better himself.
Right.
So it's like it is what it is. It's all fake, but you can't.
I'd be pretty disappointed.
That's the team that you don't want to draft you.
I would be pretty disappointed in Caleb if he did say that.
No,
that's just
it's not true. But what I'm saying is like you can't hate on somebody trying to be better or like be financially better off long term, right? So obviously it's fake, but if it were real, like it's not that big of a deal. Why not ask? If somebody is dumb enough to say yes to it, then it's on them.
Yeah. I just feel like people would attack his character more if he really did say that.
So what?
Yeah,
Care less what other
they're
people
just hating. There's a reason, you know. They just wish they were in his shoes.
And I didn't drop the F-bomb K-Fast, so
I've said it.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, are there like Jeff Collins? I don't know too much about Jeff Collins. Like it, I know he's the former head coach at Georgia Tech or whatever, but
Yeah, DC at Florida and Mississippi State. Yeah, pretty solid top 20, 10 defenses from what I understand.
yeah,
I would say a pretty good recruiter if we want to compare the three. I would put Jimmy 1, George 2, and then or Jeff, whatever you want to call him, Collins, and then 3 Jim Leonard.
Here's some news for you guys.
Yeah, if you had to rank them, in terms of recruiting, I would put Jimmy Lake first.
So it sounds like John Gruden is in play for the Indiana job.
Hey, there you go.
Can you believe that?
is he really? Is he like?
What do you guys think of back in the day, the Mike Tomlin stuff? You remember that rumor that kind of came out? There was like, Mike Tomlin
yeah.
USC. I thought that
he actually addressed that stuff too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he cleaned it right out.
That would have been great. I like Mike Tomlin, man. But
Yeah,
right.
That would be insane if we could poach a head coach who has yet to have a losing record in the NFL to college football.
Yeah,
that'd be wild.
The Rooney's are smart though, man. They're one of the more respected owners in the NFL. The Rooney's.
Mm-hmm.
And they've only had a handful of coaches in their whole existence, so they believe in long-term deals. So
that Cushan guy just posted again saying that Leonard was going to be the DC. He said it a week ago, and then he just doubled down and said it again.
Yeah, I saw that. Was that like 30 minutes ago or something like that?
I kind of want to see the reaction after he's proven right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what everybody's going to say then, because he caught a lot of backlash for a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already ready. He's like flower time for all the naysayers.
Talking about the NFL guys, I'm surprised that the Del Rio DC rumors didn't really.
They caught a little smoke, man.
Oh man,
they caught a little smoke, but I think everybody snuffed that out pretty quick.
The USC Bleacher Report community does not count as smoke, B. Jones.
Honestly, it wasn't just for them, but no, I agree with you.
There's a few guys in the community like, oh yeah, we should go after Del Rio. I'm like, why?
We should not.
Right? Yeah, no.
Cliff Kingsbury of, what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. By the way, guys, Cliff to Houston. According to my sources, my personal sources, it's a done deal, 100% confirmed. So just heads up there, guys.
This is on the internet, guys. You don't know how many people don't understand that you're just being sarcastic.
Right. Exactly.
Our boy he's trying to get Cliff out of here as quick as we possibly can.
Another hiring, Mississippi State hires Jeff Lebby away from Oklahoma, so they take 2 L's this weekend.
Yeah.
So, how you guys feeling about that one? I'm actually
just glad they're not playing in their conference championship game.
Right.
Yep. I'm actually surprised we don't have any in here today.
I would say the one interesting thing is he was the OC at Ole Miss prior to going to Oklahoma. So now, like him and Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin's kind of been giving him a little bit of jabs on the internet too. So,
well, that's all he does.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Them two going at each other for a few years.
I can't believe we don't
have our residential Ohio State fan in here. I would like to hear from him about their rough loss that they had.
He didn't want to show up.
He's taking the night off. I'm sure he's devastated right now.
Yeah, I wonder if he's wanting Ryan Day out, as a lot of people are right now.
Which is kind of ridiculous, man, considering his overall record. I mean, hasn't beaten Michigan yet. But aside from that,
But that's
Hey,
what
Alex Grinch could
now-
win like 9 games as the head coach of the Ohio State team, taking over for Urban. Like,
Yeah.
guy, everybody talks about that dude hitting a home run. He's just born on third base. Like, I don't see it. I'm not proud of anything if I'm an Ohio State fan of what Ryan Day has done. Can't lose to Michigan, even if they cheated and stole signs. Everybody's doing it. You can't lose to your rival 3 times in a row.
especially when they don't have their head coach on the sideline too.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah. Let's see. Matt Durant says, "Don't know why it is taking so long to announce the new DC. USC is really good at annoying their fan base. That is very true. No, now it seems like if it is anyone but Jim Leonard, it is a bust." I mean, yeah, I guess so. I would say that. Like, if all of this rumors with Jim Leonard and it turns out to be someone else that we
Right
weren't
from an
expecting,
optics, yeah.
it'd be kind of deflating, I feel like. And after I've done all this research about Jim Leonard, I'm so excited with everything I've seen from him based off his stats. It'd be kind of a letdown after doing all my research. But
I would say it depends on who it is, because if it's Manny Diaz or like Schumann or somebody like that, I'll be just as stoked as if it's Leonard.
Right.
the only way it's Schumann is if somehow they don't make it to the playoffs and then we could actually get him on campus.
Yeah. Or at least just agree with us and then still coach like Dan Lanning did.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice to hear that we had an interview with Schumann or Manny Diaz.
Right.
That means that we have a chance. But there has been no, like, I haven't even tweeted
Which could be a
out.
good thing, right? I mean, maybe, right? They went with their first guy, Jim Leonard, and then they haven't moved past, basically.
Which
So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I personally, and nobody knows other than the program. Like, if it's one thing that you should know about Nick, who's the president of USC?
Jen.
The
Careful.
Oh, Carol.
her.
Yeah.
She's probably the one. Obviously, she's not the one running or determining who, but she's probably the one directing the AD or going or something to keep it tight. And something that we got to learn from the previous hire, which was Lincoln Riley, nobody knew about it. It just came out of nowhere. So I don't see this as necessarily being a bad thing. I feel like the less people know, the better it is for us.
Yeah,
And
sure.
when it is announced, it's probably going to be a big time hire.
I'm sure that's the only way we know to do things. We know how to create headlines. So
I just
And
want to be
I might have stretched it out with the precedent, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, the less news, I think, the better it is for us. Maybe.
yep.
I'd rather hear if he is or not, or if he just isn't. Like, just let us know that he's not, so we can move on and stop this.
Look at the A&M debacle yesterday or whatever, that it was Stoops, and then all of a sudden it's not Stoops. Or
Yeah, they went from Ryan Day to Stoops, and now people are saying that they're going after Duke's defense or head coach.
Elko, if you need an offensive coordinator, man, Kingsbury is available.
Hey, he was under the leech tree. There you go. That's what everyone wants now these days.
In other news,
JFab has a question that's not regarding anything USC at this point. Who is the Heisman frontrunner right now?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, yeah.
Yep, Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Honestly, right now, it's probably going to be Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Penix, and
Jalen Milroe, apparently. That's two things.
give me the Heisman.
Like, what Heisman? What are you talking about?
Like,
Hey, we
those
got
are the
a
only
Heisman for you, bro.
that I can see that could be that are like I feel like a guaranteed invites right now.
But I
Yeah.
think the Bo Nix may be the front runner just solely based on the fact that they have the better record. But once they lose this Friday, that should be over with.
Well, if it's based off record, then Penix should be the winner.
Guns, you're muted, bro.
I can't hear you.
Sound like you said
Yeah,
something.
yeah. No, Daniels is the guy. I mean, he's the favorite right now in terms of odds. Better, he's got almost 4,000 passing at that, over 1,000 rushing.
Yeah, this man is crazy. He's their leading rusher.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like, I think this Friday is going to be a big deal. If Knicks plays really well and they kick the crap out of Washington, then that's a lot of momentum on a weekend that Jaden Daniels gets to throw up a bunch of zeros because he doesn't get to play.
Yeah.
So,
Fair point.
Knicks is his stats are great, but if you look, behind the veil, he's got like the lowest amount of air yards in the whole country. He throws like 4 yards down the field all the time because they just dump the ball off and run a bunch of screens and stuff. And like that's what happened in the game over the weekend. They had 2 like 60-yard screen passes go to the house. So it's not anything that impressive. Like he's not doing anything. He's a glorified game manager. Like, yeah, he's made some good plays, but he shouldn't be a winner. Like you flip Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, and they don't lose that game against Washington, even with how terrible Lanning coached that game.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jaden Daniels, like it's just like his performance just seems like if they don't have Jaden Daniels, they are way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you put anyone in Bo Nix's position, I feel like anyone can succeed. Like Cam Ward would have a great year just doing the deep passes or whatever. Plus they have more of we'll just call it talent. So I just feel like Jaden Daniels has been putting the whole team on his back, rushing, passing, everything on that offense, just like how Caleb did last year.
Right. And to add on to Tyler's point in terms of the depth of throws, this is what Rusty put on earlier. So I mean, Nick is basically the third lowest of Power 5 quarterbacks at 7. Penix is at 11.3, McCarthy's at 10.3, and then Daniels is at 10.3. For all the Heisman winners that were quarterbacks, it was at least around 9. So I mean, if you want to just compare that one stat, I mean, he's below that in terms of what we've seen history-wise. So,
Right.
What's the spread for that game? I think
it's like 9.5 maybe.
9.5 Oregon, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah. Which I'll take Washington money line.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them, but this is definitely going to be a different game than it was last time. So,
yeah, but one thing about Washington, it seems like they play to their competition. Like they're going to be ready to play, in my opinion. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Mm-hmm. Like bigger the competition, they show up.
I agree with that.
I feel like Washington is what we were last year.
Yeah,
like they have a solid. Well, they don't have a solid rushing game. They looked solid against us, but their passing game is what's keeping them alive, just like how we had last year, except we did have Travis Dye, who was killing it for us. But I'm definitely rooting for Washington. But Oregon's definitely different than when they first played. So
right.
Their defense has gotten a lot better.
In other news,
go ahead.
We have 4-star quarterback Antoine Hill, who decommitted from the Primes today.
Did he say anything about this?
No, it's all falling apart.
Their tight ends coach resigned as well.
Exactly. So there's a lot of locker room stuff going on over there, it seems like.
He's trying to get some new he's trying to get some actual Louis Vuitton in there.
Yeah, so
Louis
I don't know, man. It's a lot going on over there, man.
Yeah, didn't they lose another 5-star commit as well?
I believe so. I think they did. I think it's their second decommitment this week. But,
yeah,
that's all tied to.
I I think what hurt him was also saying that Colorado's no bank or money bag or whatever out there. He's not just here to pay players, and that's what some are looking for.
That's what most are looking for in this class.
Yeah,
This
his
class
class,
is like the money hungriest class that we've seen this far.
Oh, the 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Well, it's going to keep getting worse and worse. The less regulated it is each year. So.
Yep. So who's that? Aaron Butler. There you go. Aaron Butler's likely to flip. Oh yeah. I've heard that one as well. So
yeah, hopefully he can flip back to us.
Ready for that one. I'm sorry. What was that?
I was say hopefully he can flip back to us. I mean, he was the original SC commit.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to get paid by them, might as well.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how I feel about those kids that flip flop too much. I feel like
I mean, that's just today's kids. They're 18
like,
years old and don't know what they want to do.
yeah, you can't blame them for that. But my thing is, I just don't want them to commit 2 years before they freaking are getting ready to sign their NIL. Like, yeah, it's great to see that you choose us now, but you never know what's going to happen in 2 years.
Yep. That's the game.
Interesting. We'll be to Mizzou most likely. Interesting.
Did not see that.
Mizzou, the state of Missouri
Who's
has a
breaking
new.
Yeah, you can get money
State
if
of
you sign
Missouri has a
something,
new,
right?
yeah, NIL package where they can pay high school kids, and they're paying them a ton of money. So that's they just had a big D-line guy that wasn't even like their top 5, and then he ended up committing to them. I don't remember what his name was, but it wasn't even considering them, and they just pulled the Josh Connerly late night bag drop and ended up swooping in at the last minute. So that's ultimately not that surprising. So
You said from Missouri?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we wrap this up with who's going to be I mean, we can pick the top 4 teams of the playoff, but you know, two of them are pretty much guaranteed with Georgia and Michigan. So who do you guys have for the other 2 spots?
You said Georgia, Michigan. You said who we have for the other 2 spots.
Yeah.
Right.
Give me a second for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Washington, and unfortunately, or you know what, Florida State hasn't lost, right?
Nope.
That's correct.
So
That's correct.
I guess before you guys pick, I'll say this: what if Bama beats Georgia?
Georgia will still be in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who gets left out to say that Washington wins and Florida State wins?
I mean,
Washington would be in.
I would say in that situation, Florida State would not get in Washington, and then
Especially
Alabama.
without Jordan Travis, they don't. The committee wants to put a quality product out there, and without Jordan Travis, whoever is the number 1 team playing them is just going to absolutely steamroll them. So there's just no way that they put them in.
Yep.
So you think they get snubbed even though they go undefeated?
Going undefeated in the ACC is not very impressive, man.
Not at the time, no.
Yeah.
Not a power.
Like Duke is not even ranked anymore.
Right.
Louisville just got beat.
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't
know.
know.
I mean, for me, I would say Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and then honestly, I would say Texas, just because I think Georgia does beat Alabama in the conference. So that would be my 4.
I don't think Florida State will win this weekend, so I don't think it's going to make it like really messy. I just don't think that, you know, without Travis that they'll be able to make it happen. If they do, then I'm going to be excited to see what the committee does, because it's going to be some teams going to be real pissed off, and so I think that Oregon's going to win on Friday. they're just
Overall.
they're just a better team. I'm glad that I can't see Raul's face right now.
Staring
I know
daggers.
he gonna hit me with a DM later, telling me how pissed off he is. But
Get that button.
Let's get a bet going, Tyler.
Uh-oh, here we go.
okay, all right, okay. How much you want to put on that game?
No, I'm saying not money wise. Let's do something fun here for the podcast.
Oh, you guys had your chance. You guys
Every
already
time you
had your
Oh
chance.
yeah, we just.
every time it's on that Oregon, comes with a bet.
Yeah, you already had your chance to do something stupid. I'll put money down on it, but
Are
I
you
don't know
gonna
how
pay
many
me out
more
the money
times I'm
line?
gonna.
I'll
Huh?
put money if you pay me out on the money line.
Oh shit! But we can take this to the side here.
Well, for push-ups,
so-
man.
Huh?
Push-ups?
Push-ups.
Leave it to the physical, beast on our panel here to want to punish people with push-ups.
Well, I gotta be
Push-ups
punished, man. See, you're looking at it all wrong, man.
You can do girl push-ups too.
Damn.
Oh shit!
That was really
How about-
good.
We'll talk about it, Tyler. But I'm thinking maybe you get me for a game next year.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Okay.
See,
I
like,
mean, are we talking about like a Northwestern, or are we talking about like when Michigan comes?
We'll see. We'll talk about it. But
Too funny.
I'm never gonna root for Oregon. They could.
roll.
I'm not
Like,
rooting for them. I'm
yeah.
just objectively watching as a fan, bro.
Right.
No, I get you, but still.
And honestly, like, I'm rooting for Washington, but
Yeah, I'm
Oregon-
rooting for Washington.
Yeah.
I would love them to win.
If you ask me who's the better team right now, gotta say the Ducks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly
rooting for
like
them.
if
We're
they
rooting
make
for
it into
Oregon.
the playoff. If Oregon makes it to the playoff, that's probably the last team that I think I'd want to play right now. If I'm being 100% honest, they're
rolling.
balanced on both sides. Like JJ McCarthy can't figure out how to get the job done when he needs to. So they got to rely on the run game. So, I mean, seriously, like most balanced team in the entire country right now. Like, obviously, Georgia is Georgia, but I don't know if there's a team that I prefer to not play more than Oregon if I was
You
going
guys
to the
are buying
playoff.
their hype. Who have they even played? The one team they played that was solid,
They're
they lost
kicking
to
the
guys.
shit out of everybody, Raul.
Come
like-
on.
They beat Utah. They beat us. They
They
lost
beat
to
a
Washington.
Utah that has no offense. The only reason they look good against us is because we had Grinch. The one team that they've played that you could say is solid is Washington, and they lost to Washington.
There's
before
the
we
stat
make
right
that
there.
claim-
Jeff just posted it in the comments. They've got the number 1 offense and the number 12 defense in the entire country. That was Lincoln Riley last year, and us hoping that Jim Leonard was there this year. Like that's solid all the way around.
All right,
Do I want them to win?
We'll put some big
Absolutely
money.
not. Am
We'll
I
put
ever
some big
going to
money
root for
on this
I'm
Oregon
not
to
putting
win?
money on this, okay? I'm not putting money on it.
We'll put
I
some big
don't
money
want
on it, Tyler.
to lose, but I'm just looking at how they've been playing each other lately. Washington's been squeaking out. Like against Washington State, I know it's a rivalry game, but like people have been destroying Washington State lately. And like Washington State has just been awful. And then they squeak out with a field goal victory. That's not hopeful information for us going against Oregon, who's been blowing out teams pretty regular.
Yeah.
That's because they haven't played anybody that's solid.
The only thing also I'll add real quick is, given our experience with this situation, Washington did give their kicker a scholarship. So,
Yeah, they did.
Just putting it out there.
Badass.
Hopefully this kicker is not
Dennis Lynch treatment,
our
baby. Let's go.
Just a heads up there.
Maybe
All
that's
right, fellas, I gotta bounce. I'll give you my 4. I'll say Georgia and Michigan obviously going to get in. I think Georgia handles Alabama, and I think Oregon's going to win that game. And that 4th team, I'd probably agree with you, Guns. I'd take Texas.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with that, man. FSU can't. No, the ACC just sucks. It's trash. That strength of schedule is just
So
not.
you have 2 one-loss teams getting over Florida State.
Well, they'd be a one-loss conference championship loser.
Right.
So I'd take the 2 conference championship one-loss winners over the one-loss loser.
But you think Florida State's going to lose?
Yeah, I think they lose on Saturday or whenever they play their game.
I think it's
They play
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah.
No.
Don't do it, Black and Chan.
Louisville.
Don't you say?
It's the right pronunciation. But no, that's gonna be a tough game for them without Jordan Travis. Yeah.
Exactly.
If they win, then it's gonna be wild for that 4th spot. I'll be excited to see what happens.
Right.
But I don't think they win, and that kind of settles the 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know Tyler's got to go, so I'll go next. I'm gonna go number 1. Washington gets in.
At the 1 seed? Is this
No, not the 1 seed, but just gets in. No, come on, Tyler, don't leave me. I'll go Washington. They get in. They're 1 out of the 4. I got Bama, Georgia, and Michigan.
You got Bama getting in there?
Yeah, I think Bama's been doing solid lately, and I think they can potentially beat Georgia.
How can you make the case for Bama over Texas when they played each other? Texas won.
They just beat the back-to-back champ.
Yeah, but Texas beat them
Early in the season, though.
All right.
Yeah, that is true. That is early in the season.
And who? Okay, so I mean,
I guess I would say
it's a good point, but what I'm saying it's a back-to-back champion and playing in the championship game. It's like a huge difference playing like week 2 or week 3, whatever that was.
Right. And also, I would say I feel like if that game would be played again right now, I think Alabama wins. And I understand like they did win. And I guess that contradicts, right, the head-to-head scheduling and all that. But I just feel like if they played again, I think Bama wins just based on how they've been playing.
Yeah, but Texas also lost to a weak-ass Oklahoma team.
That's true. That does hurt them technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and then Alabama's only loss would be Texas, right? So
that's it.
Yeah.
So Kurt says Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, and Texas. So not even a Pac-12 in there.
That's insane, actually. So you think Oregon and Washington both take each other out?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm not.
That would be. I don't see that happening. Right? Like if Oregon beats Washington, I think they hop.
Avenge their only loss. I think they're in there.
Yeah, if you avenge that loss, like if we would have avenged Utah, we would have been in there in that game over TCU. I think
we ain't been in nothing. we wouldn't have been in nothing.
If we did beat Utah last year at the Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah, right.
But for me, I'll put Georgia, Michigan. Sorry, Raul. Oregon.
Sorry, guys. I'll be the one last. What's it saying?
No, I'm going to Washington. Don't worry, Raul. We got you, dude.
I'm wanting Washington to win, but Oregon is just kind of looking like on a different level than Washington right now.
Come on, guys. We're a DC podcast. Even if you believe that, you can't say it here. On the internet, everybody can see this now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then I will put I'll I'll put Florida State if they go undefeated still.
Oh, all right.
If they beat
Jones?
Louisville without Jordan Travis, that's a big win.
Yeah. Is it though?
Louisville was kicking ass a lot this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Louisville beat Notre Dame
Yeah,
handily too.
A lot of teams beat Notre Dame, bro.
Hey,
for
Not
us.
us.
we did not, though, unfortunately.
Except for us, but nobody's comparing us.
But who did? So Notre Dame only has 2 losses this year, don't they?
I think
No,
they had
like
3.
4. Wow, I thought 3 or 4.
No. I
I think they had 3 for sure.
Ohio State, Louisville.
They didn't lose to Duke.
They lost to Duke? No.
They
No.
didn't.
Okay.
They do have 3 losses. They lost to Ohio State, Louisville, and Clemson. There you go, Clemson. I forgot Clemson.
Yep.
But yeah, do we have anyone else that needs to go for their predictions?
No, I already gone.
Yeah, I got mine. I said mine earlier.
Well, yeah. Shout outs to all. We had a max of like 37, I think, at one point.
Nice.
Yep. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man, before we get out of here, and that like button. Maybe if everything works out well, maybe we'll give a preview of the Pac-12 championship game. You guys are down with that? What do you guys think? I'm sure Raul and Tyler can duke it out right here live.
I know Tyler wants Oregon to lose, but I get his point. I mean, it's like Oregon that I'm not going to root for them or say that they're going to win. I mean, but I honestly think Washington will win that game. Not just me trying to hate on Oregon, but I think Washington's a solid team, and people are overhyping Oregon because they really haven't played anybody. I mean, we can say that Georgia is going to look terrible because they look terrible the entire season. For at least the first half of the season, they didn't look great. They were playing versus I guess, with the teams, and they didn't look good at the time.
Right.
But I don't know. I just think Oregon's going to be overhyped, and Vegas is going to make some money.
Well, we'll find out Friday, man. So we'll let you know if we're going to come on Thursday. But you got to be subscribed, obviously, to get that notification. Hit that notification bell to know for sure. Run the likes up. You know what I mean? And with that being said, we are going to get out of here, and maybe we'll see you guys Thursday.
We have 10 more subs until we're at 150.
Hey,
happen, man. Please
going, boys.
Make sure you subscribe for us, please.
Tell your wives, tell your girlfriends.
Yes,
put them in there.
Don't keep us to yourselves, please.
Right on, fellas.
Guys.
Right on.